Guerilla Podcast Syndicate production. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process, and a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
in love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
Why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's
as we survive and strive to be stronger.
You are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to love, growth, and freedom.
The different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerilla Podcast Syndicate.
Alright, hey lovies! Welcome back to another episode and another season of Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. It's been a while, it's been a hot minute since I've seen you guys, heard from you, and all that. I'm so sorry it took me a while to make another season of Love, Growth, and Freedom. It's because I was going through a lot of mental acrobatics and all the likes. I've been trying to figure out myself more, and I've been learning through like my life and getting over the ropes because I didn't want to share things with you guys that I'm not really prepared to share, and I'm not gonna be someone who's gonna lead you blindly to so many things. So yeah, that's it. There's a lot of things that's been going on with me. I just want to share. I want to be grateful to all of you. You have made this possible. I'm now a host for a radio show in Fresh FM, on Fresh FM, and I do talk about self-love and all the likes. Yes, I know you're taking it to the high road. Sorry. Alright, sorry about that. I'm just happy. I just feel really light right now doing this podcast. I know it's been a while. It's been like 3 months of not making an episode. It's because I was really just down in the dumps and demotivated. But going on through this podcast because I was like really losing the essence of what I was wanting to tell you guys or wanted to share with you. So I had like a few drafts of what the season 5 could be, and I scratched it all out because I did not feel like I resonated with that all throughout the time that I was making the outlines. So I was like, okay, well, probably just gonna junk them out, put them in the archives, and not bring it out. But then I came along these other opportunities that reminded me and taught me a lot of new things about setbacks, how setbacks are your platform for your comeback, you know? These setbacks will teach you the things that you need so that you are able to come back up on your feet stronger and better. So here I am for season 5. We'll be talking about setbacks, identifying the problems between or identifying the reasons and things that we could improve on, and then accepting it, realigning your priorities, having a spirit of patience. I can't wait to like walk you through this whole season all over again. And I just want to share with you all these things that I came up with, especially really inspired by people that I look up to and I study about and all that. But most of it is the way that I understood most of the things and chunked it out. So that's how my podcast goes. I know if you guys, just wanted to remind you guys that this is how it goes here. So yeah, so I'm back again. There's so many things that I want to share and be grateful for with you guys. Thank you for the support, the love, and taking the time to listen to me at times where I even doubt myself in so many ways. So here I am talking about setbacks. So let's talk about what setbacks are. Setbacks, overcoming them, and understanding why setbacks happen in our lives. So first off, the definition of setback is a reversal or check in progress. So this episode aims for us to have an understanding of what each setbacks mean for us, how do we position ourselves and look at these setbacks as on a positive note, why understanding this concept is key to know how we would react into situations that are out of our control. Okay, so setbacks. We all know that setbacks are, inevitable. It happens in our lives whenever we try to improve on something, whenever we try to be a better person. Some things will always bring us down a notch, like 10 steps forward and 2 steps back. It always happens in our lives because there are so many things that we can't control. And our reaction to those things can actually just bump us off a little more back. So this season will be all about setbacks because it's a part of our journey. The reason why I wanted to talk about setbacks, it's something that we experience universally as people. We go through our lives, feeling like we are powerful at some point and then unchallenged. And then there comes a point in our lives there when we would feel challenged. We would feel like we let ourselves down and all the likes. And these are caused by the setbacks that we experience. So it is part of the journey. And I told you that setbacks become the platform of your comeback our comeback is a quote that we used in pep back when I was a cheerleader in cheer. We had this as our tagline because we believe that we as people work on so many things and that it's not always going to be a good day. It's not always going to be days where you know what you're exactly going to do with so many things. You're going to have to relearn and learn so many things to get to a level where you can actually control much of the things that you could only control. So with setbacks, it's really something like you go through all of these so that you are able to progress and become the better version of yourselves. In every part of our lives, we will have setbacks, very much so, like emotionally, physically, and mentally. I'll give a few examples. In pep, when in cheer, when you learn a new skill, at one point you'll have a good day where your skills get hit perfectly, like your tumblings are perfect, your landings are amazing, your liftings are great. And then one day, something's just gonna unclick and you're gonna have a bad day and you're gonna feel like you've lost all control and all memory and all, like, you getting used to that skill, and then you'd feel down on yourself. So that's a setback. But how you actually get over that setback would determine how you'd perform in the other days. So it's always like that. There would be something that you'd probably miss because you're too focused on something else, and there's some small detail that you have to keep in mind while you do those skills. So that's how you do, and that's how, like, setbacks are important for our lives, because setbacks show us what we actually miss out on, or the things that we kind of take for granted most of the time. So success is not a linear thing, and that each step back that we have means that there's something to work on. I would like to always say that perfection, not progress. Not perfection. I'm sorry. Practice makes progress, not perfection. So with practice, with working on yourself all the time, with dealing with setbacks, it makes us progress a little more each and every day. No matter how big, no matter how small, there would be setbacks that would lead us forward to a different level, and you'd understand why you had to go through that. So that's why I chose to talk about setbacks. So were there any recent setbacks that, like, I've experienced? There were a lot of setbacks I've experienced. First off, I told you about, like, the plan in Australia. I've been deferred for a year over now. And it's upsetting because it was a plan of mine. I was so ready to start my life there. I was so ready to start it off so quickly and the like. But up until now, the virus has, halted it for a long time. So, yeah. So that was there. And the way that I dealt with that setback, I made a resolution with myself that I'd be living my best life each and every day, doing the best things I could, doing the things I enjoy, doing the things that make me happy as of now, because I can't reach that goal of mine yet. Doesn't mean that I can't reach other goals that I have within me and other goals that I can do back here in the country. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I've also experienced a mental block on podcasting. I told you I was able to write at least 2 outlines for a complete season of season 5, and they were okay. They weren't bad. They weren't the best, but they didn't feel like I was going to do it justice. I wasn't sure if I'm able to provide justice to those outlines because I don't think I was ready and the perfect person to actually explain all those that came in. So yeah, I did that, and here I am. working on it again, fighting, understanding. So what I did with that kind of setback of mine, I really just gave myself a break because it really takes a lot of creative juices to talk about something all over and again. So I'm just like, okay. And then I had to experience the world. I always like feel since we're in a pandemic, I haven't experienced the world. We haven't experienced the world the way we should experience it. Again, you know what I mean? We're stuck at home. There's not much adventure to see. There's not much emotions to feel, but exhaustion from what's going on. So that's what's going on with me too. But with that, I kind of like worked on it by just doing some other stuff that made me happier at a certain point that I learned from, like the DJ hosting gigs and all the like. I've been learning so much from that, and I'm inspired because I've talked to people. There was a movement and progress in that got me inspired to write something again and do this podcast all over again. You know what I mean? So yeah, there was a moment where I was so demotivated that I started to doubt myself and all the things that I've been putting out here in the podcast, because I'm like, maybe I'm a fraud, maybe I'm an imposter, maybe because I don't get to always put in the work, walking the talk. So those are like one of the factors that got into me. So what I did, again, I've been telling you the specifics that I did with those situations, but I deal with my own setbacks by analyzing what went wrong, what were the things that I could improve on, and then I reassess my situation, like how could I do this? How can I work on this? Reassess what I should work on, me putting up in priority and all the likes. And then I make the necessary changes to improve on. I try to do something new, learn from a mentor. And, I always remind myself that we are a work in progress, meaning the setbacks we face will always be there, but how we react to it is what makes us different from each other. Okay. I keep saying, but yeah. With the likes, I guess, those are the tips that I'm going to give you as we go through working on our own setbacks. Again, setbacks are not failures, but they are reminders of the things that we still have to hone, the skills that we still have to master as we go through our lives. It happens because sometimes we take for granted some of the details that we don't usually think about whenever we deal with these kinds of situations. And then that setbacks are the ones who sets us straight on the path to understand and hone the skills that we lack at that very moment. Doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just something that you kind of have to still improve on. So yeah. So the things that we're going to do is we're going to identify and analyze where we can improve on. We are going to reassess our situation and realign our priorities. And then we will make the necessary change to improve on. And then we will always remember, and we are going to prepare ourselves for the long haul as we deal with setbacks. Because setbacks, take it or not, face it or leave it, whatever you want to say, it will be always a part of our lives. So keep at it. We're going to keep going. Yeah? Yeah, that's great. Okay, what can you say for people who are facing their own setbacks? Okay, so I've written this down, and the questions, and it's always in my head that I kind of deal with things differently than a lot of people. So I want to share a more precise way of how we could deal with these setbacks. Okay, so sometimes you just say deal with it. How would you deal with it? Nobody knows sometimes, and it's like, okay, I'm sorry, I should tell you. So this is me telling you that first is we begin with having a little faith in ourselves. It's not a failure to take a few steps back where you came from. Okay, so I would always put this in analogy of good days and bad days in sports and anything that you do physically, and also like in art and the like, because there will be good days and there will be bad days. Good days where you feel like everything's just great, you're fully inspired, your skills are hitting really well. If you're in cheer, your skills are hitting really well, your tumblings are amazing. If you skate like me right now, your spins are centered, your balance is amazing. But there will be days where you'll forget how to do that simple thing because you missed one spot, you missed one move, you missed one detail that you have to put. So there are good days and there are bad days. Have a little faith in yourself that you are able to muster and weather through the bad days, because you, on your good days, have been working so hard and putting in the work for all the things that you actually have right now. So have a little faith. This moment, it's not a failure when you have a setback. It's not a failure taking a few steps back. It's just a reminder that you still have to keep working on something to be the best at something. Remember that it's normal and not everything we do is one-way going up journey. It's a bumpy ride. We all know that life is a roller coaster. We go up and down. The emotions and the tensions can be high and all the like. But know that as long as you're in for the ride, you're taking the ride, the safety and all the likes and taking the necessary steps to do it, I'm sure you're going to come out of this strong and powerful. So what else can you do? Focus on improving yourself and preparing yourself to face each adversity with tenacity and resilience. Preparing yourself, improving your habits, changing your mindsets, and also working on this idea that, acceptance of a lot of things that you can't control. Because if you start with acceptance, you kind of just have everything in front of you and you're like, okay, what else am I going to do about this? What else am I going to work for? And what else am I supposed to write about? Or what am I going to dance about, cheer about, and work on? So that's really more of the idea of how you can face these setbacks that you have in your life, changing the perspective and having a little faith in yourself that you can do it, you can push through all of this, that it's a normal thing that happens to us. It's not just you experiencing it. I'm not invalidating it, but I'm just saying that, if you're being too hard on yourself on this one, imagine how other people feel when they get to do this as well. You're not the only one doing this. Okay? Capiche? Good. It's normal. Everyone experiences this. And all you have to do is we keep pushing. We keep learning to deal with all these things. So, yeah. All things said, I hope that this season, you can enjoy this season and have this new and refreshed idea of how you can deal with your own setbacks as we discussed through all of this. And I can't wait to tell you how we could learn more about and dealing with this. So it's not as long as before anymore. It's more detailed and upfront that we're going to deal with. So yeah, I just want to thank all of you lovies for staying this long and listening to me up until this season. I appreciate you all. And yeah, I'm back again. If you guys want to listen, our next episode will be up in the next few weeks. I'm going to change up the schedule as well, but our next episode will be about identifying the things that we have to improve on, analyzing our own situation, analyzing the things that's happening within us externally and internally. So yeah, lovies, thank you so much for listening to me. This is Adrian Duarte of Love, Growth, and Freedom, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
You enjoyed this episode? Be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerillapodcast.com.au or guerillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerilla Podcast Syndicate production.